Hello, beauties. Welcome to another episode of Hidden Gems with me, your host, Natasha Parker, where we know what we do in here. We're helping people get unstuck. We're looking for the successful people. We're looking for the happy people, and we're trying to make other people happy and successful. And today, we're making some changes in our lives. We are pivoting. We are happy to be pivoting. And sometimes that is what is needed to grow us, to help us go on. So the overview of this episode today is adventures of change and how it can grow us and how we need to accept it. We need to be accepting these changes. Sometimes growing pains, they call them pains for a reason, but in hindsight, it's all worth it. And my guest today is Nikki Vontaya, and I am so glad that she's here. We had an episode with Dash Lopez, and Dash Lopez shared her hair journey. She shared so many gems and so many things. It's a great episode if you guys listen to it. But there were a lot of people who messaged me who had alopecia. And they said, you know, it's cool that someone like Dash is doing this voluntarily and shaving her head and definitely empowering the community of people who decide, I don't want hair, I'm good. But there are people who don't have a choice. So I asked Nikki to come on this podcast because she has some big life changes going on in her life at the moment. And she is a part of the alopecia community. So welcome, Nikki.
Hello.
To
Hi,
Hidden
Natasha.
Gems. How are you?
I'm doing great. It's a lot happening. I'm very stressed. I'm very overwhelmed, but we are thriving nonetheless.
We are thriving nonetheless. Now, I like to have my guests introduce themselves.
Okay.
Because I want to hear how you talk about you.
How I talk about me.
Mm-hmm. So introduce yourself to the Hidden Gems peeps.
Yeah. My name is Nikki Vontaya. And I'm from Detroit, Michigan. Yeah. So I actually used to work in advertising, and now I am letting that life go and moving on into exploring me, myself, my content creating journey, all of that. I have alopecia. I've had it since I was 9 years old. I make content on that. So yeah, I think I'm amazing. I think I'm great.
You are. And
I've done a lot of work to feel like that, but yeah, I'm happy to be in this place.
And we're going to get into that. And I will say your energy is so magnetic. It's so fun. We met through one of my best friends years ago, and just every time I talk to you, it's like we never skipped a beat. It's like we keep up. It's like I hope for you the best things. I wish for you the best
Same
things.
This way.
And I feel that so much, right? So I'm excited to get into things. So you are from Detroit.
Yes.
And you moved to New York when?
About 8 years ago. I'm hitting my 8-year anniversary in June.
Okay, so why did we do that? Why did we feel the need to do that?
You know what? I know I just told you I just quit my job recently. I'm always quitting my job. I was going down my LinkedIn profile and I'm like, I have not stayed at a job for longer than 2 years. Like, what is going on? I will quit a job and get up and go. And so I was just fresh in my career in sales and like not really knowing what type of sales I wanted to do. And I was just really frustrated, similar to how I am right now, like frustrated where I was in life and like not really certain what direction I was going in. And going to New York happened almost by accident. I've never told anybody this story, but when I quit my job, I was working at a company. I was working at a logistics company doing sales and all of that and hated every second of it. Hated every second of it.
But why did we say yes to this job?
I said I needed a job. I was fresh out of college.
Oh, you were just like,
I needed the money.
You needed the money. Okay, that is motivation. Money is the motive.
Money has always been the biggest motivation for me. And it's starting to change a lot more as I'm getting older. But when I quit my job, I walked into, it was like a normal one-on-one meeting with my boss. I walked in and I just bursted out in tears. I do not cry in front of bosses all the time, but I bursted out in tears and I was like, I quit. This is it. And she said,
logistics job.
The logistics job. And she said, do you want to act? She's like, what's going on? What's wrong? I said, I'm moving. I have to go. I had no plans on doing any of that. Like I didn't wake up and decide to do that. I just did it. Which is insane.
Right. Well.
And after that, I started looking for jobs all over the place. It was between Dallas and New York. Dallas was paying a lot more than New York. And I decided to go. I prayed about it. I'm very into my faith. And so I prayed about it a lot. And I decided to go to New York, and that was the start of it all for me.
But you ended up getting a job and then you moved here, or you moved here then got the job?
I got a job, then I moved here, yeah.
Okay.
So I had 2 offers, one in Dallas, one in New York, and I chose the New York offer, which wasn't paying a lot, wasn't paying for relocation, nothing, but it was like a huge jump, and I felt like, I don't know, I just started thinking about the long-term game and what I wanted in life and what I thought would be like fulfill me more. And I just took that leap and did it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
And so what drew you to New York? Or was it just like, it's a city?
Oh my God, I hated New York.
So you took the job and was like, this was a mistake?
I had interned in New York. I have family that lives in Jersey, and I worked at my cousin's company. And I interned here for a while, and I remembered, oh my God, people in New York are so mean. Like, you know, that typical thing. And so I moved. When I decided to take the job, I didn't really like New York, but I knew I wanted to work in advertising or like at an agency.
Okay.
Like I knew I wanted to do more creative stuff because I was coming from like the very boring world of logistics.
Yes.
And so I just wanted something different. So it was between the working at like some startup tech company or working in Dallas at doing medical sales. Either way, it was still, all of it was still sales. And like I cared about money, but I was like, what else is there outside of money? How else can I get to something that could be more enjoyable?
What was your degree in?
My degree was in sales and business marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So it was still on the path.
It was still on the path.
Right.
That's something about me. I stay the course. And that's why I'm really excited about this journey, because this is like completely different than who I am. Like always had 2-3 jobs, always have stayed the course, did what I was supposed to do, and now.
What is the course to you? What do you mean by stay the course?
I'm the type of person where I feel like if I often think about things that will make my mother proud, or like things of like making sure that I am secure, making sure that I don't go broke, making financial security and doing things technically the right way. So if I say I'm going to be in sales, I'm going to stick to it, and I'm not going to let anybody see me fall off, like I'm going to stay the course in whatever decision that I made initially. Yeah.
So you're not going to give up. You're going to persevere. You're not going to give up. You're going to be the best. You're going to do the thing. Okay. Where do you think that came from?
Is this therapy? It's giving therapy.
It's giving therapy. It's giving. We're digging deeper.
We're digging deep
because the gems are hidden.
Yeah, the gems are hidden, but we gonna wake them up today. I don't know. I think that in therapy, I discovered that I am a huge almost people pleaser in a sense of I want to prove my worth and my value by certain things that I do and making sure that I'm able to prove that. And so me staying the course is my mother, thinking about her and all the sacrifice she had to make and me getting to college and all of that, and just making sure that I please everyone who is rooting for me and doing that versus thinking more about other people versus thinking about myself and what it is that I want.
Yes. So it's the pleasing. It's it's also my first guest, she called it her shiny resume. It's keeping that resume shiny for everyone else to be oh, well, I'm this and I'm this and I'm this, or I've done this and I've done that. Yeah. But
my biggest thing when I moved here, it was like you said, that shiny resume. None of it. Sometimes a lot of that just doesn't matter because my biggest goal when I came here, I was I want to work at Twitter. I hate it when I came here and it's the whole what do you do? What do you do? What do you do? It's so infuriating. But I was I need to have something to flex on people with. I need to work at Twitter. I need to work at and so I got the job at Twitter. I've done everything that I wanted to do in New York. So
yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, the these big companies or these named companies, it's just you don't even say what you do at Twitter. It's just I work at Twitter. Period.
That's it. Period.
I work at Google. Period.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Well, but also to their defense and or credit, it's working at these big companies, though, you do work with some of the best.
1,000%.
And you do learn a certain type of work ethic, my, HBO ethos. And when you agree to be a part of a community and or a brand, you kind of hold certain things to a certain standard. And we can use that to our advantage or not. But at the same time, regardless if we're working there or not, that doesn't define who you are.
It doesn't.
Your energy when you walk into a room does, in my opinion.
Yeah, 1,000%.
Right?
Yeah.
You like, what do you do? Nothing.
Right. I'm unemployed.
Look, show up. Show up. That's what I do. I'm here. That's what I did.
It's me. Period.
Yeah. And honestly, that should be enough.
Mm-hmm.
That should be
Now you
enough.
really sounded like my therapist.
You know?
You really sounded like my therapist.
Well, that's what I had to learn too.
Yeah,
because
she tells me that it's you don't have to bring anything to the table. You already are enough.
You are the table.
You are the
Period.
table. I'm the table. I'm the chairs.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm the plants on top of the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And when people make you feel like, and I think when you really do get tapped into that, because the truth is like, we do want to do all these things and make our parents proud and stuff like that. But
yeah,
if you was just like, Mom, I'm not doing nothing. I don't know nothing. I'm coming home. Mom not going to be like, what? Get out of here.
Right.
Mom's still going to embrace you and be happy and be like, okay, boo, well, let's figure it out.
Yeah.
Right? And so, you know, not everyone has that in their family life. But when you are blessed to have that in your family life, you realize that the people now that you have in your life, it's like, okay, yeah, I don't need these transactional relationships or friendships or whatever. And you start looking at people a little different when you're like, oh, so I do have to bring all of this to the table in order for you to hang out with me and talk to me or whatever.
Exactly.
And you're like, yeah, I don't want to. Oh, thanks.
I'm okay.
Yeah, I'm okay. The way that you're asking this of me, it's a big realization, I think, when you hit a certain age. I think we all kind of fall into that, I'm out of college, now I have to do this, and now I have to, you know, because we feed into that beast, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, we get to New York, we get, what's the job that we got?
I worked at some startup sales company, and then I went to the New York Times, met my best friends there, and then, again, not there for longer than 2 years. And then I moved to Twitter, and then once the whole Elon stuff happened, one of my mentors from the New York Times pulled me and got me at the Washington Post, where I just quit, like, literally 2 days ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you. I was crying about it the other day. I'm like, it feels very different to like quit a job. I've always quitted a job, but I've always had something else lined up, or I've always been very serious about what my next steps are going to be. And I'm going to like be very diligent and apply for jobs. And this is now my first time quitting a job, and like, I don't have to go on LinkedIn.com and search for a job. Like, I don't have to I'm walking away from that for a minute. So, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, the process that you already have in looking for a job or being diligent, that's not going anywhere, right? Like that's there.
Yeah.
If you wanted to, you're highly employable, you work really hard, you're very likable, people know you, people like you, you have all these other mentors and things like that professionally. So if you really needed a job tomorrow, I could dig in and do it.
I have to keep reminding myself that. Like I very like seriously, I like whenever I like freak out about this decision that I'm making, I always remind myself, girl, you've been building your resume for a long time. Like,
and it's okay. Not, and no one's you're not going to now go to apply to a job 1 year, 5 years, 10 years later, and those jobs are going to be gone. Yeah. You still did that. Yeah. You still have that knowledge. You still gain that knowledge. So, you know, that is, I understand that. But it's a change. It's a difference. So you said, well, now that I'm doing this. So tell everyone what you're doing. Yeah. Why you quit your job. Why did you do that?
So I quit my job because I decided to travel for a year. I'm essentially doing a gap year.
Or they call it a remote year.
A remote year, yeah. And I will be taking a year off to travel to 12 different countries over the next 12 months, spending a month in each country, Europe, Asia, South America, and I'll be back. I'm leaving from the States in like in a month, and then I'll be back in June of 2025. Like, it's a huge transition, completely different than what I ever thought that I would ever even be interested in doing. And I feel like it's more, especially more now, like I am really leaned in and focused on like, what is it that Nikki wants? And like, how do I lean in and give myself the time and the effort and the energy that I was given these corporate jobs?
Yep.
Like, how do I do that? And if I'm done for a year and I like continue exploring me, myself, and I and doing what I want, or if I come back, like you said, and have to look for a job, either way, everything is okay no matter what, you know?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
so,
how did you come to this being the thing? Is this a drastic change?
it's a huge change. I think that I just gotten to a point. New York has done so many great and incredible things for me. You know, New York would beat you up and like lift you up at the same time. And it has given me so many great friends. It's given me so many great experiences. But I have been feeling like my time in New York has come to an end. Like, I feel like I've done everything that I needed to do here. I feel like I'm like craving community and I want to be home with my people and like all of that. And, you know, just want to figure life out. And I also, from the working perspective, I'm growing frustrated with doing work that I don't feel connected to at all.
Anymore. Because at first, when you first start these jobs, you do. Or
do you? Or are you driven by money?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no job that I get where I don't Glassdoor.com. And then what's the commission rate on top of that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got you.
So I don't think that I've ever really been, I pretended, I think that, like you said, it's the name on the resume that has driven me. It's the money that has driven me. But now I want to figure out what it is that I want and, you know, lean into the things that I enjoy doing and, you know, really find the path that God wants me to be on and really lean into that. And so, that's just the point that I'm at now.
As we're talking now, I
feel like you just like we have so much to unpack here.
I'm ruminating because there is, so one of my bosses said to me once, and I loved this boss. He was amazing. And we still are in touch and things like that. I love him. He said to me once, you know, a job is a job.
Yeah.
Like it's work.
Yeah.
I think sometimes for women, we get in this place of, like you said, you want to, you know, it's beautiful when you can have a job and you really feel connected to it.
Yeah.
Our mutual friend, Courtney, I've known her since we were little, and she always, she wanted to be a doctor.
Yeah.
She wanted to be a doctor. It was the only thing she wanted to do, and she is a doctor now, right? And that's probably what she's going to do for the rest of her life, maybe, you know. But it's something that she wanted to do, and she knew it, and that's her connection, and she's doing that, right? But then there's other people who, you know, maybe some people are just connected to making money, let's just say, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there's a world where when we feel connected, like you're going on this trip, and I know there's some things you're going to find out and figure out, and like it's going to be such a beautiful evolution for you. But there is a world where like I can feel connected to me and learn and do the things that I need to do in my life because I give myself a gap year or I give myself these other things. And then I can come back and work this job and let this job be just this job.
Yeah.
Like, is that something that you're thinking about? Or is it like, no chance, I've done that. I want to make money doing something that I am connected to, period.
I want to make something that I am connected to, period.
Yes.
That's what it is for me.
Okay.
And I feel like in that same, like, conversation, like, taking that year off for me, I had to constantly remind myself, is that, like, I've always had a job. I've always been looking for a job. I don't have kids.
Nope.
I don't have a husband.
Nope.
I don't have, like, incredible, like, insane things that I have to, like, financially take care of and like all of that.
Keeping you tied somewhere.
I feel very blessed and grateful that I don't have all of these worries right now, that I can make a decision like this. And who's to say 3 years from now where I'm going to be?
Right.
I won't be able to take, you know, who knows? I might not be able to take this same type of opportunity in the future. And so now I just want to sort of really take advantage of where I am in this moment. I know that there's no such thing as perfect timing, but it really, really feels like a perfect opportune time for me to be able to, like, take this leap, take a year off, and try to find, like you said, that thing that I'm connected to, and, like, really lean into that.
Yeah.
I'm really connected to the things that I do on Instagram and TikTok and all of that. Like, I'm really, really connected to that, and like share my experiences with alopecia, and like, how can I give to people? Like, that is what I'm connected to.
Yes. And helping people.
Yeah.
And your content, it's so digestible. It's so you. It's so fun. It's so funny. It's like walking with me, you know?
Yeah.
And now I know you as a person. And I know that's how you are as a person.
Yeah.
But sometimes with social media, it's hard to like let that translate. Did you have a hard time with that when you first started making videos and doing things? Were you like
translating like my personality on? Oh, girl, yes. My little sister, when I first made videos, my little sister would message me like, "Why are you talking like that?"
This is the camera. This is me. Hi.
When I would do my voiceovers, I would sound like so corporate, like, you know.
Yes.
And she was like, "Why are you talking like that? Relax." Like, it was hard. It was hard to translate, but like I was really interested in it, and like I just continued to push through and did it, and it's been an interesting journey because in like less than a year, I'm like 800,000 followers across all of my social platforms, and like being able to inspire, like the most interesting thing about that to me is the messages that I get from women who have similar experiences to me. So like whether it's alopecia, cancer, whether it might be lupus, like having all of these incredible moments with these women, whereas when I was younger, when I got it, because I got alopecia when I was 9 years old, I felt so incredibly alone. And I felt like I didn't see anybody that looked like me that shared the same experiences as me. And so it just feels really good to be in a position like this now.
Yeah. So you were 9 years old. So can you, for anyone listening who doesn't know exactly why someone gets alopecia or what it is, can you explain it?
Yeah. So I got alopecia when I was 9. And my cousin used to braid my hair, and she ended up finding like a little teeny tiny like dime-sized spot in the middle of my head. And my mother took me to the dermatologist. It's essentially an autoimmune deficiency, and it's what they told me was that it was caused by stress, and they don't have any other reasons. Like, they don't know. And I'm like, I'm 9 years old. Like, what exactly? What are we stressing out about?
I know, we're stressing about, do I want to play here or do I want to play here? Do I want chicken or do I want beef tonight? You know, what? Wow.
But I was told that it comes from stress, and I've lost my hair completely. Like, I've never lost my hair completely. Like, I shave my head because I don't like the little patches. Like, I like to look clean. But I have lost a lot of my hair, and then my hair has completely came back. And then I've lost it, and then my hair comes completely back. It's been an ongoing cycle for the majority of my life. And so just like maybe like 2 years ago, I started like consistently shaving my hair and sort of learning how to take that power back and making the content and all of that. It's been a long journey for me to learn how to accept this version of myself. But it's alopecia is something that you can have it, and then your hair will come back. And then, you know, it's like it's a huge back and forth game. Yeah. Huge.
So it wasn't stress. Or it, like, we don't know.
They don't know. They don't know. No, they don't know.
But if it's an autoimmune thing, and it's an autoimmune response, it's like, they're saying that the autoimmune portion is offset by stress, or it's onset by stress.
Right, that's what they say. They take guesses as to that, but it hasn't like completely been like, there's no clear definition as to why you might have more spots 1 month than another, or like whatever. Like, it's just no clear definition, and it wasn't sure. I think that sometimes, to be honest, I think that sometimes stress does have an impact on my hair, like as I'm older, and like, you know, I still have hair that grows. I just shaved fresh early this morning, but just for you.
Yeah, thank you, honey. Thank you. Looks good.
But I have like a patch of hair that grows right here. And last month it was full. This month it's completely empty because I'm very stressed right now.
Yes.
The month, like 2 months before that, it was completely empty because I was stressed at that time. So there are some times where I can hint that like, this is why I'm losing my hair. But a lot of times it does not make sense.
Okay. So that's very interesting. All right.
Yeah.
When did you decide, okay, we're embracing this? This is it. This is me. Love it, hate it, whatever.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
It took a lot of work to get to that point. Like I said, I've had it since I was 9. I've hidden it from family members. I've hidden it from friends. I would run in like whenever DoorDash would come to my door to like drop off my food, I would run and hurry up and throw on my wig and get my, like, even like little moments like that. And so now I would say like when I was in therapy, I was really questioning a lot about like, I think before therapy, I was wondering like, people don't love me, like, just like going through my own mental issues, but then started questioning like, how much do I actually love myself? Like, how I don't feel that I accept myself totally and completely as me without everything, without the makeup, without the wig, without the, you know what I mean? And so it was me doing a lot of work to figure out like, how can I accept me? And the biggest thing that helped with that was, I always tell people who always ask me like, how do I start wearing, go out of town? And I went on my first solo trip. And when I turned 30 and I went to Mexico, and I brought one wig that I absolutely hated. So I didn't bring it out. And I forced myself to get outside and not wear a wig. And I was in a destination where I didn't know anybody. Like, nobody knows me in Cabo. Nobody know me, there. And so I forced myself to go to dinner, go out, go surfing, like all of that without my wig. And I felt very like ashamed, like almost ashamed, and like felt very nervous about that experience. But I did it. And I felt a little bit more confident when I walked away from that. And so...
And people didn't act a certain way, didn't look at you a certain way, didn't treat you a certain way, right? It was. I
think you kind of get in your head sometimes, and you'll be like, "Oh, they're looking at me with pity," and like it's like something that goes on in your head where you question, you project all of your emotions onto other people, and you say they're looking at me this way, and it's like no, And most times people might say like, "Oh, you look great with your da 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 da," but like it's. It's not that serious.
Yeah. And I asked that to Dash too. It's like, is there a proper way if someone just has to, and I said this, I'm like, as much as I want to inquire means nothing compared to if you're going to make someone feel uncomfortable. So like, don't ask this. You know what I mean? Number one. But two, if someone were to ask, what is a proper way, or a way that makes you feel good or safe or seen or whatever to ask?
Yeah. Honestly, I've never really had people ask, other than like me being younger. In my adult years, being out bald in public, I've never really had that.
You never had anyone...
I've never had someone directly ask me like, what's going on up here? I voluntarily will share that information.
Okay.
But I've never had that experience of like people asking me a specific question about what's going on, what's happening, like why don't you have hair? I feel like that's very intrusive, because you have no idea what is going on, and now you want me to pour my heart out to you.
Right. Exactly.
No, I don't. And I don't know if there is a good way to do that. I think that it is more based on like how I feel, or how a person might feel to like share that information with you. Like
Exactly. No, truly. And what about relationships? Guys that you've dated or met, whatever. What about that?
So that is completely hidden. So like I said, a lot of this I'm still very much so still working on. Like even me making the decision to come here and like, do I put on a wig or do I like not? And like I didn't feel like doing my hair, and I was and
that would have been completely up to you.
It would have been completely up to me. But I'm still growing is what I'm saying. Like I'm still growing, and I'm still learning how to accept this version of myself as well. But from a relationship perspective, there has not been a relationship where I've like completely like shared that I have alopecia. Like the wig stays on.
I see.
The wig stays intact.
Yes.
There was one time where a guy...
What? No, he didn't. Don't tell me he pulled the hair, honey.
He didn't pull the hair, but he ended up, I'm very particular about who I let follow me on social media. Like sometimes I don't like to let guys follow me on social media, because then I'll dig too deep. Like I'll like start stalking and like trying to figure out like what's going on, who you used to talk to, all of that,
Yes.
So to spare myself, I like, hold off on that until a certain amount of time has passed by. And so there was this guy that I was talking to for maybe like a month, and he ended up finding my page, and
Which page? Because you got two.
I have two. He found my family page. He found a page before this new page, the Nikki Vontaya page existed. But he found that page, and he saw that I had a bald head, and he kind of checked me, and he was like, and I thought he was checking me for bad reasons, like, all of that, but he was checking me like, why don't you feel comfortable enough to tell me, and like all of that. Okay, still none of your business. You just like relax. But it's all, like I said, it's always been something that I've kept a secret from that in, especially since I'm not in a place right now where I'm dating.
Right.
So
Right.
now I'm at a completely different place now than when I was dating.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, it's just, I don't know. I'm wondering how I would handle that in the future when I am open to dating and
Right.
all of that. But I think it'll be a lot different. But before, it was a huge secret. Yeah.
Yeah.
None of your business.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's not.
Yeah.
But also, you were talking about the DoorDash person coming. You put your wig on. So when you're at home, just by yourself with you, what's comfortable for you?
So what's comfortable for me now is walking around without my wig on. Now it is. But before, I barely wanted to look at myself in the mirror without my wig on. So my wig would be glued to and secured to my head all day long. I don't care how bad the lace is looking. It's staying on my head. When the DoorDash would come and my wig would be off, it would be like, oh my God, I should have kept my wig on. Like, those little moments, like when I was living with Edmund at the time, our friend Edmund, and I was living with him. Whenever he would bring company over, I would rush and hurry up and put on my wig. The lace would look crazy, girl. Quick install, lace is looking crazy, but the wig is on.
It's on.
It's clocked in.
Yeah. So now we're feeling more comfortable with ourselves.
Yeah. It was a huge change for me to get to this point of feeling comfortable for myself and like comfortable with myself and like learning to, like I said, accepting myself as this way and like learning to like actually believe that I was beautiful, because when I was younger, like at a young age, I would wake up in the morning, like religiously wake up, look in the mirror, call myself ugly, and like try to like accept that and like move on with the fact that like I don't have hair. It's nothing I can do about it. I'm going to be in these ugly wigs for the rest of my life, because I was wearing wigs from Hair Club for Men that would like have these stiff bangs and stiff curls. But I didn't.
That's what it was last time.
That's what it was before the wigs came up, like how they are now.
Yep.
But I never felt pretty. And in my adult years, I never really felt pretty. It's now that I'm like getting to this point where I do. And like sometimes I have my little moments. But I recognize that like without the hair, I am still like,
you're you.
Yeah.
And you're beautiful. Yeah. And who we are is not this body.
Yeah.
Who we are is who we are to ourselves and to other people. Our energies that we put out. And you have such a crazy light. You give such great energy. You do. And that is the beautiful part.
Yeah.
Right? Because I see beautiful people who are, physically, quote unquote, beautiful that are they just suck.
And,
they really are not good, wholesome people who make other people feel good. They feel bad about themselves, so they make other people feel bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so when you really define beauty and you really talk about beauty and what makes someone beautiful to other people, and living in such a shallow place like America sometimes, where the news tells you should look like this, you should like that, and just as Black women in general, we're not the norm of what the beauty is.
Yeah.
You do have to find that in yourself to say, no.
Yeah.
I have this body. And we gonna make the best of it.
It is,
and we look great. And we, and someone is going to see you for who you are.
When I first got alopecia, it changed my personality completely. Like I wanted to be invisible. Like, hide me, please. And I got really quiet. I was like a very hyper kid at first, and then when I got alopecia, I got really quiet because I was getting teased and like, I'm very big. One thing about me now is that I'm very big about people looking me in my eyes, because when I was younger, people would always look at the top of my head to see my wig, and if it was a wig and like what was going on up there. But when I finally kind of came out of my shell, like started showing more of my personality, it was like in high school, like at the very last year of high school, senior year. And that was my first time really recognizing that I do bring, so one person does bring more to the table than just their looks, than their hair.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I knew I have a stunning personality.
You bring the energy, babes. You bring the energy.
I feel like very cringe, like saying positive things about myself, but I'm trying to work on that too.
No, you have to.
Yeah, I know that like I'm a good person, and I know I have a great personality, and it's like that brings more your personality, who you are, how you treat people, walks into the room far before people recognize if you have hair or not.
Yeah,
you know?
exactly.
Yeah.
And my guy Joe Dispenza says, your personality is your personal reality.
Mm-hmm.
So if you start, if you just down yourself,
Mm-hmm.
that's your reality.
Mm-hmm.
But when you lift yourself, that's your reality.
Yeah.
So it's so important to say nice things about yourself, hype yourself up,
Yeah.
talk about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
and do those things. And I had another guest, and women just don't do that a lot. We don't. Whereas a man just wake up and be like, man,
All right.
Superman. Like, what? Why doesn't Wonder Woman get more hype?
Like, hello?
Truly. And why is the woman wondering? Why is she wondering in the first place? She's amazing.
Yeah.
Why can't she just be Win Woman?
Yeah.
Why Wonder Woman?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
We need more of that.
Right?
But it's constantly, like, even when you scroll on social media, it's always something that's something that I work on in therapy, is that you are not a project. Like, I don't have to fix myself every 2 seconds. I don't have to wonder about, like, how to have a better day. Like, how to talk to him. You know what I mean? Like, you are enough, and it's okay for you to feel like you're the sugar honey iced tea. Like,
yes, it is. Yes,
you
it
know?
is. Yes,
so,
it is.
Yeah.
But I think it's accepting where you are at that time.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I'm here. This is where I am today.
Yep.
Some days I'm not getting out of this bed. I'm grabbing a book, and I am grabbing a tea, and we're going to stay here all day.
Exactly.
And that's where I am today.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, we run in marathons, we doing this, we doing that. You know what I mean? But wherever you are, you have to really, because we are, humans are just so complex.
Yeah.
We have such a complex brain. We have so many feelings. They're up, they're down, they're side. We are affected by everything that we encounter.
Yeah.
That's what people don't get. It's like if you just have people in your life that's just negative.
Mm-hmm.
What?
Hello.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, you're fighting an uphill battle.
Mm-hmm.
So all of those things are just so important and so true. And as you go through this journey, and now you're about to do your gap year.
Yeah.
Where are you going? What are these 12 countries?
I can give you the list. Let's see. So I'm going to, where am I starting off at? Portugal, Spain, Albania, Turkey. I'm going to Japan, Bali, Thailand. I'm going to Brazil. I'm going to, where else? Peru. I'm going to Mexico City. I'm missing like 2.
Okay. But
it's 12. Yeah.
All around.
All around. Yeah.
And you're going with a group.
I'm going with the group. Yeah.
And it's going to be the same group.
It's going to be the same group. I think some people will hop in and hop out at the over the time, but this is going to be my first experience doing anything like this. I actually had a coworker, like, while I was working at the Washington Post, a coworker tell me that she had just started at the Washington Post, and she did the same program that I'm doing. And she was telling me about the experience, and she was telling me how great it was. Her whole life changed. Like, she got married, and now she's having kids, and she moved from New York to London with her husband that she met while she was on the trip. Like, a lot of things changed for her.
Wow.
And it just always stayed in the back of my mind. I was like, as soon as I heard her say that, I remember the very next therapy session I had. I was like, so what do you think about this girl?
So what year did that happen? Did you have the conversation?
That was last year.
Okay.
It was like early last year.
So it's been stuck in the back of the head and since then.
Yeah, it's been stuck in the back of the head.
Ooh. All right. So then we finally pulled the trigger. We were done. We were ready to move. So you were talking about how you haven't stayed at a job for longer than 2 years.
Yeah.
Is there like a stuck moment or a pivot moment or like a feeling that you get when you're like, yes, time to move on? Or is it really just like the calendar says 2 and either we're getting a promotion or we're leaving or whatever?
Yeah.
How does that process happen?
It's kind of the latter. It's very much so like I'm a very money driven person, as we can tell. I mean, working in sales, you have to be money driven at some point. And I think that a lot of me works a lot off of happiness. Like, am I happy? Do I feel fulfilled here? Do I feel like I know what the next step is going to be? And one thing that I recognized like earlier on in my career is that every time I get a new job, somehow the salary jumps. What's happening? And I often feel like it's just a lot of work to get a promotion and doing all of this and like trying to convince people of your value when I can just go out to another company and show you that Either you can match or increase that salary, or I'm gonna go on over to the next place
and make more money.
So
every job you've basically had a pay jump.
Every job aside from the New York Times, that was the only job where I didn't have a pay jump. And the reason why I didn't have a pay jump was because I needed a name on my resume. That was my goal. I told you my goal was to get to Twitter. I wanted to I wanted big names on my resume. That was my goal. And in order for me to get that was to go to the Times. And I did my best to negotiate that salary, but it wasn't as much as I made from the previous position. And I made that leap. And then I had a huge jump when I went from New York Times to Twitter.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's a gem, because I will say that these companies with these big names know that they're a name. So that's like, a chunk of money that they know that they can take out because you now have this name on your resume.
Yeah.
I also had to do the same thing when I went to HBO. I took a big pay cut to go to HBO. And so, but then when I negotiated and I got, when I ended up getting a raise, I was like, so let's go back and see how much we made then and how much we took back, and now what we gonna give me? What's the residual?
What's 1,000%?
Right?
Yeah.
So that is something that happens, and if someone is in a transitional period right now and you are looking for that name for your resume, you might have to take a little cut, but you will get it back.
Yeah, you will get it back. I think that my little sister is going through the same thing. She's like kind of fresh out of college and trying to figure out what she wants to do next and blah, blah, blah. And I think that it's one staying on top of what's happening in the industry that you want to work in or the one that you're already working in. I knew that I wanted to do advertising. I knew that I wanted to be in tech. I knew that. And I wanted to see what are the skills that I need to be able to get to that job. So getting that Twitter wasn't just having the big name on my resume. I need to have the skills to be able to get there. New York Times gave me both of those things. And it gave me the opportunity to get the job that I want. And then, then Twitter gave me the skills that I needed to get to the Washington Post to have a bigger salary. And another thing that I really wanted was I wanted to be able to get a job without having to apply for a job. Without coming to New York, my biggest goal was I wanted Twitter, and I also want to get a job based on my connections. And I got that I was able to do that both at Twitter and at the New York Times, really. I mean, not the New York Times, but the Washington Post.
Yeah. Great.
Potato.
Yeah. That's great. And again, the network, we always talk about that. The network.
Yeah.
The networking makes sense. So now that you're about to go on this remote year, or I keep saying remote year, gap year, are we continuing with content? Are we doing social media? Are we getting brand deals? What does that look like? Do we have a manager?
Yeah, I'm actually having conversations with managers now, and it's all new. I just started working on brand deals. Like I said, I just started making content maybe 11 months ago at this point. I don't even know if it's been a full year. But I just started doing brand deals, just started working with trying to figure out the manager situation, and content is going to come heavily because I'll have the time for it. And I have a lot of, things that I want to do to show my experience during this time, and also still showing my experience with alopecia and navigating that across the road and all of that. So, it'll be there.
It'll be all there. Do you prefer Instagram or TikTok or YouTube?
I feel like my YouTube folks know me the best out of any other platform. I feel really heavily connected to them.
Because it's the longest form?
It is the longest form. Yeah. Yeah. It gives you a lot more opportunities to connect with me versus.
How long typically are those videos?
So I still do YouTube shorts, but sometimes my long form videos on YouTube are they can be 45 minutes, 30 minutes, things like that. Yeah.
And you started YouTube also 11 months ago?
I started YouTube 11 months ago as well. The one that I started the latest was Instagram.
Okay.
Because Instagram always gave me ick. But it is the one that is growing a lot. It is growing at a much faster rate than the TikTok and YouTube.
Really?
Yeah, it's growing really fast.
That is
my most viral videos are on Instagram.
Really? Yeah. That's wild, because Instagram, a lot of people doesn't hear that. A lot of people it's TikTok. A lot of people it's TikTok.
It took me a minute to figure out. I think that working at Twitter helped me understand like the social media and like how platforms work, because one of the things that I figured out was like I was posting the same videos that I was posting on TikTok and and now I don't do that at all. Like my videos are like I have the perception that Instagram is a sound off platform. Like you open up your phone and it has the mute button immediately as soon as you open up the phone.
Right.
So everything has to be like appealing to the eye.
Yes.
So like whether it's like captions on screen or like whatever. Whereas I rely very heavily on like voiceovers or talking to the camera when I'm on TikTok. Like that's completely different to me. So
it's a sound on.
It's sound on. It's a sound on platform. Yeah. So those videos, I do my like my maintenance day videos where I like do everything under the sun, doing my nails, my hair, all of that. And those videos like do it really, really well on Instagram.
Yeah.
They do well everywhere, but like my shaving ASMR, like all of those videos do really, really well where I'm not talking. It's just captions on screen, like getting like 17, 18 million views.
Yeah. That's great. And I mean, look, that's a gem too for anybody because
it's a gem.
putting different things on different platforms because I just be like, oh, same thing, whatever. Yeah. But my TikTok is so like, oh, my TikTok needs some love. Look, we gonna talk later.
It takes a lot of energy to like put into
we gonna talk later about that. We gonna have a little meeting about that, Nikki. Yes. But have you found social media, because social media, like you said, Instagram is cringe. It was the most cringe for you.
So cringe.
What are some of the positives and negatives that you found from putting yourself out there?
Positives is essentially why social media is present today. It's the connection with people. It is the things that happen outside of the comments in the DMs. Like the DMs that I get of people that are going through similar experiences are like, it is very touching. And then also like I'll have experiences where I'm like, I was in Ghana for Dirty December and, getting stopped and like hearing about people's stories in real life or like being home and I was at Jay Alexander's on a little date. Yep. We love Jay Alexander's. We love a good Jay Alex. And I remember going to the bathroom and there were 3 women in the bathroom, one that had lupus, one's mother who had cancer, then another one who just watched me. And it was just like a full-on crying session in the bathroom. And like understanding like that just feeds my inner child so much. Like the hate that I had for myself when I was younger and like how alone I felt. Doing this and like having these type of conversations really like it drives me, right? But the negative side is that it's the man, right? Like it's always the man. Hello. The number one comment that I get on my posts are, "This is so deceitful," while I'm on camera without a wig on the World Wide Web. It is so deceitful. You like all of this, like you women are so deceitful, like all that whole conversation.
Right.
Yeah, like, because I'll like put on my wig. Yeah. I'll put on my wig and I'll take my wig. Like it's very deceiving. Like I wonder if you were my. I got a comment the other day on YouTube of a guy. It was funny. It was like a long paragraph. If you were my woman, what would happen if I was to pull on your hair and then it would just come off? Or why do you feel like you need that makeup and da 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 da? And it's like, okay, let's reel it in because let's go back to when you said if you were my. I am not.
Happen. Because let's just go. Let's
just start from the top. Forget about that whole paragraph you wrote. Let's focus on that first sentence. If I was your what? Let's be FFR.
No, because I stopped listening. The moment I saw that, I stopped listening. I literally couldn't see anything else. It was a blur. Wait. If I were your woman.
Let's be serious. Yeah. Yeah. But I get comments like that, and then like people will take my videos and it'll go like some of their stuff will go viral of like saying stuff about like it's deceitful and like can't believe like this is what women have. I want like all of that. It doesn't necessarily. I would say that like if I look at it too much, it will hurt my feelings.
Yes.
If you consume too much of it, but I give myself. I talk about this on my YouTube channel. Like I give myself a specific amount of time to like respond to comments and like really focus in on that. because after a certain time,
Do
it
you
gets a little dark.
Do you respond to that? Like that man? Like, do you respond?
I don't. No.
Okay, good.
I leave
Good.
it. I leave it.
Good.
Sometimes I like to make an example of somebody and like make a video out of it and then
Yes.
monetize off of that.
Yes. Yes.
But outside of
Yes.
that, no, you're gonna be left.
Yep. Left
alone.
on red.
Left on red.
Yeah. I had a someone comment about me rolling my eyes.
Screaming, what?
Yes. Yes. They were like, you know it's a red flag when a woman roll her eyes like that.
Huh?
And I said, I laughed at it. I did comment.
Yeah.
I laughed at it and I said, yeah, years of experience. Why do I have years of experience? Because of men like you. Because of men like you. That's why I can roll my eyes so
Screaming,
hard,
okay?
so well.
The eyes are rolling in the back of my head.
Okay. Because of comments and men like you.
Okay. Hello?
What? And
Yeah.
I said years of he didn't even. I know it went over his head.
Mm-hmm.
I know it went over his head.
Yeah.
But the girlies got it.
The girls that get it?
They get it.
They get it.
They get it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, don't respond. Do not respond.
I don't respond.
Don't respond because they just. I mean, and what's hilarious is it's just so great how men really feel like they can talk about how we look so much.
So much. First of all, why am I popping up on your For You page? Why is a makeup video popping up on your For You page? What's going on, babes?
Mm-hmm. Something in you loves this.
What's going on? You love it.
You love
it. Let me send you my makeup list.
Yeah, I'm telling you. And
Let me send you what I do.
You were intrigued. You were intrigued. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you were.
Talking about catfish. No, you want to learn how to catfish yourself.
You wish you could.
You wish you could.
You wish you could, huh?
And I love that for you, to be honest.
That dick won't get bigger, babe. It won't. It won't. It won't. Mm-mm. Who's catfishing now?
Who's catfishing now? Screaming.
Okay. Before you come here, before you send for me.
Before you send for me, okay?
Yes, that is, you're hilarious. That is,
No,
yes.
that's you.
No, that's you. That's you. Okay. Look, we're coming to the end of this podcast. It's a very fun podcast.
Oh my God, it's been by so fast.
I know.
Oh my God,
I know.
it's been this much time.
Yes, it has. It has. Yes. Looking back on these changes that you've made and these adventures and changings that you made, what are you looking forward to most?
I keep asking myself that. Like I am really looking forward to the growth that I'm going to have on this. Like this is, like I said, this is so out the box for me, and like being solo experience in all of this, and like I'm really looking forward to the relationships that I can develop. I'm really looking forward to the experiences that I can have. I have always been a very I'm like, because of my depression and like some of the things that I've gone through, like mentally, I often isolate myself and I like to stay by myself like a lot of times. And so, like I said earlier, like I am in this point where I'm craving connection, and that's something that I'm really like feeling like is so important to me right now.
Yep.
And so to be across the world and to be able to really like I'm not going to want to sit in my little room all day long. You know what I mean? And
you
like
can't.
to
You
build
won't.
connections with new people. Yeah. That is something that I'm really, really excited about.
I'm excited about that for you too.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's going to be great.
I feel like it'll be great things that you can get out of this experience. I'm just really excited.
I'm so excited for you.
Yeah.
I really am. And are you bringing a journal?
Girl, I journal every single day.
Yes.
Okay? I have a pile of journals on the side of my, like in my room. All of my journals that I've ever had when I was like, even when I was younger. I keep all of my journals.
So
yeah, I journal. I'm a journal girl.
Okay, good. So that brings me to what's in your wellness toolbox. What's the real wellness routine look like for you? What keeps us when we're feeling like we're going into a depressive state? What kind of can balance us back?
I think that aside from therapy.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. We are pro therapy here.
I love my therapist so much. But aside from therapy, I think that while having connection with people is like the thing that I'm craving and what I'm interested in, I think that learning to enjoy and be with yourself is huge as well. So like the solo trip that I took when I was in Cabo, the times when I take myself out to eat and like learn how to enjoy my own company and learn how to do things that I actually enjoy myself. A lot of times, like I there are different hobbies that I have, like just getting into all of that. Those having self-love and learning how to like love myself and learning how to do things that I enjoy and like putting energy and effort into that instead of stressing out about everything else about that's going on in the world, having time that I dedicate to that, that's something that is huge for me of like, okay, I feel really stressed. What is something that I need to do to get out of that? Okay, I'm going to take myself out to eat. I'm going to take myself to them. I just did it the other day. I went to go see Challengers, and took myself out to eat, but like learning how to enjoy your own company, is really huge for me personally, and also journaling as well.
Journaling is, a lot of people say it's just like it's the best thing. So it sounds like you said when you get depressed you stay by yourself, but it sounds like you've also now taken that power from staying by yourself. It's like no, I'm not staying by myself because I'm depressed. I'm staying by myself and I'm learning to love myself. And I'm learning to do these things with myself and be happy in doing these things.
Because there's a few different ways of where you can, I can stay by myself and be bed rotting and like staying in the bed and like not seeing anybody, lights turned off. I've been there. But then there's also being by yourself and being present and understanding what it is that you like and going out and like, experiencing the world without you, around you without anyone else, and like enjoying your time by yourself. That is, I feel like that's really powerful. To be able to do that.
Yeah, I've done some solo traveling, and I will say that tapping into energy, and I hope that for you, like when you're out and you go somewhere and you see someone, anyone, and you feel the energy from them, you're going to feel, and that's the thing, like with our intuition as women, it's like we feel if someone's weird or not. You don't got to talk to that person. And you feel if someone's like, actually, they seem cool.
Right.
And really, that's the only thing, because you're in another country. A lot of times you speak a different language, whatever. And that's the only thing you have to go off of is that intuition of is this a cool person or not, or is this a positive person or not, and you feel that. And doing solo travels, I think that muscle just gets even stronger from that intuition aspect. So I'm excited for you.
So happy. I'm so excited. I can't wait. But like I hit the challenge of being in New York, and like that already takes a lot of strength to like show up here and not have family here. Like family in Jersey, but they're far,
Right.
Like coming here and building a whole new friend group and community here, to be able to do that across the world is just I'm going to be so proud of myself.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
I'm already proud of myself for making this decision, but yeah,
the decision was the first part. And so you're going to show us all this on your socials. Are you going to bring us along?
And is.
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So if you guys, so tell everyone where to find you on socials.
You can find me on social, Nikki Vontaya, Vontaya, Nikki with 2 Ks, to be clear. But Nikki Vontaya on YouTube, on TikTok, on Instagram. It's the same across the board.
Okay, great. Yeah. Great. So we will be following along.
Yeah.
And I want to thank you so much for coming on this podcast.
I want to thank you so much for inviting me.
Great. This was amazing. We didn't even get into the fact that you went on Tamara Hall, but like, go find her. Go find the video. Go find the video if you want to see that.
But I can't believe I'm on Gyms.
Yeah.
With Natasha Parker.
Exactly.
You have so many gyms. You've been keeping the gyms to your friends, and now you're giving them to the world.
Yeah.
We love that.
So my so our mutual friend is one of my best friends, and she listened to the first episode of my podcast. And she said that. She was like, girl, don't give them everything. I feel like I've been getting these my whole life. Don't give them everything. No, it's for everyone.
I feel like you've always been like, I will never forget when I first met you. First of all, meeting you for the first time in your home and like you being so incredibly inviting and like you were dropping gems.
That was the first time we met?
That was the first time that we met. Yeah. I remember I had no idea who you were. I was like, whose house are we at? And you were dropping gems that day too. Oh. You got to pull out a notepad when you're around you. Like,
yes. I'm telling you. Look, someone actually said that, girl. I started taking notes when I listened to your damn podcast. Well, we're here.
As you should. Hello. The gems have been dropped. Enjoy.
We are here for that. Oh my gosh. I really do feel led to share. You know what I mean, with people. So
you're so good at it.
This is my little baby.
Yeah.
But I'm so glad that you were here, and I cannot wait. We need to run it back in the same time next year when you come back, so we can hear all the things that you learned.
Because there's 2025.
Because I think that also there's a lot of Black women who are like, I want to travel. and I don't have to wait for this or that or whatever. And I want to go to these places, but I'm scared. And it can be scary for certain people, you know?
I'm scared.
I'm not scared for you. I'm not scared for you. I know you're going to be okay.
I'm scared, but I'm also really excited. I know that everything is going to be okay. Because you mentioned it earlier. Like, I have my mother. Like, I can always go home.
Period.
I'm blessed to be able to have that.
Yes. And she's going to be like, come on, baby.
She's going to be like, come on.
Yep, that's it.
Clean up the kitchen.
Yeah, exactly. She's going to put you to work. But she's going to say, you got a place to live. You got a place to live.
And this.
Well, everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did and you think it will help someone, please share it with them. And I will see you guys next week for another episode of Hidden Gems. Thanks for listening to Hidden Gems with me, your host, Natasha Parker. Don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe. It really helps grow our budding community. Follow me on IG at Natasha Parker and the show at Gems with Natasha. Hidden Gems with Natasha Parker is produced by Gotham Production Studios.